Hundreds vanish in U.S. national parks. Their bodies reappear in impossible places. If you've never heard of the missing 411 phenomenon, prepare yourself, because this is one of the most unsettling mysteries hiding in plain sight. Across America's most beautiful wilderness areas, Yosemite, the Rocky Mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains, perfectly healthy people step off a trail and are never seen alive again. Despite massive search and rescue operations, trained dogs, helicopters, and weeks of manpower, many of these cases end the same way. Someone disappears without a trace, only to be found later in a location that makes absolutely no sense. Take one of the earliest and most disturbing cases. A young boy goes missing near a lake while his family is only a few yards away. Search teams sweep the area for days. Nothing. Then, almost 2 weeks later, the child's body is discovered on the side of a steep mountain ridge miles away. No footprints, no torn clothing, no signs of an animal attack. To get from point A to point B, he would have had to travel through terrain that experienced adult hikers struggle to navigate. And yet he was just a child. Cases like this defy logic, but there are dozens, even hundreds, following the same pattern. Patterns, that's the word researchers keep coming back to. Because missing 411 isn't about random disappearances. It's about clusters. People vanish in the same locations, under similar conditions, with similar bizarre details. Their clothes are sometimes neatly folded beside streams. Their shoes are missing, even though they were last seen wearing them. Their bodies are often found in areas thoroughly searched before, as if someone, or something, placed them there after investigators passed through. And the strangest detail? Search dogs often refuse to track the scent. Not lose the scent, but refuse, as if something about the case terrifies them. One of the most chilling incidents happened in the Great Smoky Mountains. A trained outdoorsman went for a short walk near his campsite. Just a few minutes. When he didn't return, his friends started searching immediately. They covered the entire area in less than an hour. Nothing. Rescue crews arrived and combed the forest for days. Then, almost 3 weeks later, his body was found in an area so remote and rugged that the recovery team struggled to reach it, even with specialized gear. For this man to get there on foot, in his condition, was practically impossible. And yet that's where he was. Skeptics will say these disappearances are simply the results of accidents, animal attacks, hypothermia, or getting lost. And in many cases, that's true. National parks cover millions of acres of unforgiving terrain. But missing 411 focuses specifically on cases that don't fit those explanations, cases where evidence contradicts the usual causes. No animal tracks, no signs of a struggle, no plausible route. And most unsettling of all, the victims are often experienced hikers, hunters, even former military personnel who knew the land well. What do people think is happening? The theories range from the scientific to the supernatural. Some believe there are geographic anomalies, hidden caves, sudden drops, or environmental conditions that disorient even the most skilled outdoorsmen. Others suspect human involvement, kidnappers, isolated groups living deep in the wilderness, or even serial offenders who know how to avoid detection on vast public lands. Still others think the answer is stranger: portals, unknown predators, or entities that we simply don't understand yet. While none of these explanations have been proven, the consistency of unusual details keeps the mystery alive. One ranger who worked in Yosemite for decades once admitted that there were cases he refused to talk about publicly. Not because he didn't know the details, but because the details made no sense. "There are things out here," he said, "that we can't explain." And when someone with years of experience in the wilderness says something like that, you listen. If you're wondering why the National Park Service doesn't keep an official list of missing persons, that's part of the controversy. Many families have claimed the government isn't doing enough to track or investigate these patterns. Some believe the lack of centralized data is intentional, not because of a conspiracy, but because acknowledging the phenomenon could scare visitors away. National parks rely on tourism. Fear is bad for business. Whether or not that's true, one thing is certain. The missing 411 phenomenon raises more questions than answers. Why do so many cases involve sudden weather changes, malfunctioning electronics, or victims last seen walking away silently, as if dazed or drawn by something? Why do some victims turn up alive but unable to remember what happened? And why do so many disappear in the exact same regions, decades apart, with the same impossible details repeating again and again? As you watch this video, somewhere right now a family is searching for a loved one lost in America's untouched wilderness. Search teams are combing trails, calling out names, and hoping for a miracle. Most cases end tragically, some end mysteriously, and a small handful never end at all. That if you want a deep dive into the strangest missing 411 cases ever recorded, the ones investigators still can't explain, subscribe for part 2.